my inspiration for Zoot suits was my grandpa Max. He was a Pachuco. And I didn't get to know my grandpa until I was probably 15 years old. But I seen a lot of pictures of him, and I was inspired by his suits, his looks, his style, you know.
How old were you when you first heard about the play, Zoot Suit?
I was in the 7th grade. This girl brought a pamphlet from the play, and I seen it and I said, oh, that looks like my grandpa. So I seen the pamphlet and I wanted to go see this play, and my parents opposed it. They were against all the Pachuco and the Cholos. And,
even though it was in your history.
Right.
Your grandpa.
Yeah, they wanted us to fly in a different direction. I was attracted to the style, the whole...
Why?
The whole lifestyle. It was sharp. Just the look alone, the walk, the style, the way they talked. So I had
not the darker side of it, not the crime, not any
of that.
No,
I didn't know anything about the dark side of it, you know. When I seen the play, I was even more inspired by all the events, you know.
Where did you see it at?
Mark Taper.
So that was the original cast. You got to see Eddie Olmos.
Right.
And then tell me about the wardrobe.
Well, the wardrobe was just out of this world, man. I mean, I was like, wow. I was too young to even think about getting a suit at that capacity. I wanted one. So when I graduated from junior high school, I secretly went to a tuxedo shop and rented this tuxedo. This is my junior high school graduation. And in fact, I still have this chain. And when I brought it home and it was graduation day, I put it on and my parents flipped out, but it was too late. But no, I didn't go alone. I went with a friend of mine. His name was Danny Vasquez. So we teamed up, got our suits, and we sort of backed each other's up with our families about, you know, what we wanted to do or what we were going to do.
What year was that?
That was in 77, right? My dad he would tell us, hey, let's see who gets tired faster, you buying these clothes or me tearing them up.
How were you able to afford this?
Well, they would buy us our school clothes and we'd take them back. We'd take them back, we had the receipts, and get the money, and then we'd take the bus to El Monte to go to Mitchie's to change them out. But we had to get up extra early just to leave to school so that we could, you know, dress the way we wanted to dress.
And still you were only going for the look. You were not really interested in the gang
life. It was
life.
all the look, all look. You know, the gang stuff, it wasn't too crazy at my time. I was living in West Covina, so there wasn't really too much going on there, but there were a lot of Chicanos that it was all about our culture and the look.
Danny Romo, ladies and gentlemen.
Back in 2005, I joined a group called Midnite Cruzzers, and I was thinking, man, if I'm gonna be on stage, I wanna look sharp. So I started saving my money and started buying Zoot suits. To me, when I put on a Zoot suit, I feel like Superman, you know, and the style is just super sharp. It's pretty rare, but I've noticed, you know, most of our gigs now, everybody wants to be Zoot suited. Everyone wants to just look super sharp. And we appreciate that because it just brings a whole different vibe to a gig. I wanted to be one of a kind, and I wanted to feel like I was shining out there playing congas. And I would always tell my band members, I want to be up front, man. I'm gonna be Zoot suited up, and I don't want to be in the back hiding. But and it's also a dedication to my grandpa, you know, and in a positive way, to look sharp as I could be, and also promoting my band, it helps. And throughout the years, playing with different bands, I've always suited up, and I've noticed when they know I'm going to show up to a gig and whoever I'm playing with, I see more Zoot suiters coming in. And they all approach me, want to take pictures, and you know, we're shaking hands, and it makes me feel proud that I sort of put that stepping stone there. I mean, there's others that wore Zoot suits on stage before me, but I felt like the crowd that the Midnite Cruzzers drew was all the Chicanos and the lowriders, and I says, well, I'm gonna do something to be remembered by and help promote, you know, what we do up here, right?
And you play?
The congas, percussions, timbales. My first album, I was 5 years old. My mom and Dad bought me the Jackson 5 album. So from then on, it was all Motown. And as I got a little older, my grandma Carmen inspired me with her salsa. So when I started hearing salsa as I got older, I said, well, instead of playing the drums, I think I want to do percussions, Latin percussions.
Did you start in school?
No, just all self-taught. I think it's natural. I think it's part of our culture. You know, if you can dance a beat, if you can dance, then you can create a beat.
And did you meet Carlos?
I met Carlos at the Beacon Theater back in New York.
What was that like?
That was great. I showed him my Last Supper and he says, oh man, I want to have my Last Supper with you. He's one of the biggest inspirations of my life. Him and the band War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know those guys? Have you played with them?
Yes, we have. We've been on stage with them. We've backed up Howard Scott. In fact, I was invited to Harold Brown's house in Pomona. He's the drummer for War. He wanted to get reacquainted with me because the first time we played with him was maybe 10 years prior to that time he invited me to his house. And the reason why he invited me, because he was going to ask me to join the War band because their percussionist couldn't leave the country. I guess I was up next, I don't know, man. But he asked me to come over and visit him, and I went over there. He asked me to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. I said, wow, all right. Because, you know, I work nights. So I did, I went to visit him, and I was there till 9:30 in the evening. And we went through all kinds of memorabilia, man. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe where I'm at.
It was a great day.
It was a great day. So before I left, I said, so what's the deal? Can I go and tell my family and friends I'm in War or what, man? So he said, goes, look, man, from 1 to 10, you're a 9. I just need to go and pitch you to the rest of the guys and see how that goes. So I was like, oh man, maybe nervous. So 3 weeks later, he calls me and says, hey man, we're not gonna do it after all. We're gonna stick with our original Chuck Barber percussionist. I said, oh, that's cool, man. I go, just the opportunity to go to your pad and hang out with you, and you even consider me as like being considered for an Oscar. This is my Aztec stick. It's the Aztecs' conversion into Christianity, and it starts out at the roots of our people. I consider these roots. They're building the pyramids, and these colors represent the Americas with these hands, bringing the Holy Spirit with the chalice of the blood of Christ in the Sacred Heart, bringing it to the indigenous. That's the eye of God, the Holy Spirit.
You have the Last Supper on your stomach, and then on the back, is that the Archangel, Michael?
Right.
So that's very religious. What is the meaning of that to you?
Well, to me, growing up in that culture, that religious culture in my house, my parents had statues and pictures of God and Jesus and angels, and I would look at the artwork and I said, wow, that's beautiful. I think I want to draw something like that someday growing up.
So having the Last Supper in the arcade, did that make you feel like you were protected, or?
I wanted to think so, and I still feel that way. As long as I kept my faith and not fall off track, then I'm good to go.
Your body became a part of that.
Right, and a reminder as well.
A reminder.
Yeah, so.
What, is there any component to it of like redemption or anything like that?
No, just to keep it positive. You know, when I became a tattoo artist, I was always told to keep it positive. Don't do anything crazy in your business.
Who told you that?
Well, you know, we'd go to confession every Thursday.
Yeah.
And me becoming a tattoo artist, thinking, oh man, because my parents hated it. They thought I was possessed. I go, no, Mom, it's not like that.
Yeah, that's not the thing you do.
Yeah, you don't do that.
No.
I was tattooing my friends in junior high school, man.
Yeah. There's certain cultures that do not tattoo themselves at all.
Right, right.
You know.
So, you know, and then when I opened up my shop, Romo Inc., back in 2000.
Was that in Fullerton?
Yeah. I went to a priest and I asked him, hey, so this is what I'm going to do and my brothers are going to come and work for me. And I felt a little awkward about this because of my upbringing. I go, but my tattoo shop is going to be all of Aztec and Catholic culture. And he says, just keep it positive. For as mature you are in your faith and your religion, you should know better.
Did you get a blessing?
Yes, I had the priest come to my shop and he blessed it. And we had to air out the shop before he kicked us. One of my brothers was upstairs smoking a joint. Man. He says, oh man, what are you doing, man? The father's gonna show up. I told you yesterday, man, be cool. I ended up closing my shop down. I ended up in the movie industry. You know, I met a makeup artist named Ken Diaz who wanted...
Wild Kenny.
Wild Kenny, who wanted an artist that could do some Chicano art for him, and that's when I met you. And it snowballed from there. You know, I acquired a bunch of movies under my belt. I ended up in the Screen Actors Guild working on a film called Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead with Andy Garcia. From there, I had my own lead in my own film called Vengeance.
Yeah, that's great. I've never had a lead. I'm always the guy in the back.
Another one, 187 Shadow Lane, I ended up landing the lead in that. So I was really grateful, man, and I started to climb. I started to build confidence as an actor. And then, you know, after doing like maybe 20 films, it became a hustle. I couldn't land anything anymore. And I was starting to think, well, that's okay, man, because everything I'm getting is all dark and, you know, gritty and, you know, and I was always the bad guy. I said,
How did you get back to the positive then?
Well,
your way of being, you know?
I had to go back to tattooing.
Yeah.
My customers were saying, hey, what's up, dude? You back or what? Yeah, I'm back. And it was relaxing too, because working on film is a big commitment.
What stage of your career are you at? What do you do?
Well, I'm still tattooing. I'm up at Hollywood Vatican with Freddie Negretti, and I'm proud to be there. I spent 20 years there. It used to be called the Shamrock Social Club, but Freddie took over, changed the name. He changed the whole ambiance of the place. It's beautiful.
What's the future of the business?
Well, now it's saturated. I mean, there's great artists now. The youngsters come up. I think it's like second generation now, which cuts into my work. But as long as I hustle, keep up, you know, on my social media platform.
What makes it different now?
Well, technology. These machines that they create these patterns for you to apply onto the skin already have everything you need there. It's like painting by number. As you know, the way the old school artists do it, it's just an outline.
Is it possible to tell the difference then between somebody like that and then, like, let's say, a real master?
Absolutely.
How?
It's so precise what they're doing and so bold. The detail is less, but the realism is beyond measure with what the kids are doing now. Before, there were a handful of artists that tattoo that way then, but now it's just, it evolved into this, like I said, the patterns are pre-made so that the shading's already there for you. There's no like looking at your picture and then, you know, you just take off what you see in front of you, and when you're done, it looks like a masterpiece. But in all reality, this machine did it for you. You just copied what you see, you know.
So I get it.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between film and video.
Yeah? Okay.
Thank you, brother.
If you're Chicano and you're brown and proud, it's your kind of music. And if you're down for your neighborhood, it's your kind of music.